beat. What? Don't miss a little Sean. Searching far on my own for a place to call my home. I came west to a land wild and free. My heart felt a change in this land, so new and strange. Where the west still remains, there I'll be. It's all hard scrabble land, and I work with my two hands. Built a life and a home and a dream. Through the toil and the strife to build a better life. Where the west still remains, there I'll be. Where the west still remains, and this land new and strange, all its beauty and splendor I can see. From the east to the west, it's the land I love the best. Where the west still remains, there I'll be. I found courage and faith in this young and restless state. All its people and soil strengthened me. It took hold long ago and has never let me go. Where the west still remains, there I'll be. Where the west still remains on this New Mexico range, I will sing this refrain loud and free. My place I belong like a ponderosa stone. The west still remains, there I'll be. The west still remains, there I'll be. West.
Hear that train a-comin', it's running around the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know where. I'm stuck in that prison, that's where I'm going. But that train keeps rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that lonesome broken, I hang my head and cry. I bet this rich Rosita in that fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me. And if they put me for a reason, that railroad train was mine. I'm flying moving over further down the line. Far from Bolton prison, that's where I want to be. So I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away. Woo! Yeah! Woo!
Goodbye, Mr. Schomberg. Goodbye, Mr. Maxwell. Phillips over here doing nothing.
Where's Mr. James? Who knows? Oh, I see you're out of town. They're talking crazy talk. Manley, get down here.
Yes, Mr. Chase.
Now when I
Mr. Carson, please stop getting distracted.
Wait, as usual.
Somebody's got to stand up for me. Ain't gonna do it.
Don't worry, I know them. They're where I'm from.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, Lucien.
Yeah.
Alright, how we doing? Not bad, not bad, not bad. Alright, so, I just have one question. For the past year, y'all have been planning and preparing. And have y'all really been hiking to come out here and hike? It's walking! Why do you need to practice? Let's get going, I guess.
Well, they need to practice because these folks are excited to see the mountains, am I correct? That's what I'm talking about. We shouted on.
Man, now if they're going to be spending time out there, they best know something about where they're going.
Excellent idea.
An excellent point, Miss Chase. You can't get where you're going without the railroad.
No.
Hey, railroads is bird. You want to hear about that, don't you?
Gentlemen,
dog.
If we're going to tell everybody the story of this land, why don't we start at the beginning? Mr. Carson, if you would.
Yes, sir, Mr. Phillips.
Be an honor, Waite.
The story of this land starts about 2,000 years ago, actually, with the ancestral Puebloans. They were some of the first people to settle here, but they moved on long before any settlers came around. They did leave behind a lot of interesting markings, though, you see. How many are going to Indian writings on your track? I think they know where they're going.
Yes, they do.
All right, that is a first. I'm proud of y'all. So, if you're headed there, you'll get to do some archaeology work, take a look at those markings, but best of luck, because I know 10 Native American languages, and I don't know what they mean.
Well, if you're not heading out to Indian Ridings, maybe you'll be passing through Apache Springs in Philmont, South Country. Are any of you going to Apache Springs? Yeah! All right, well, that camp is dedicated to the Hickory Apache, who migrated here in the 1500s. They've had a rather, we'll say, complicated history after the Spanish arrived. But a few settlers managed to stay on good terms with them as the United States pushed west.
Complicated would be a good word for that. All right, so you see, Mexico took control of this land after Spain did, and they opened up this area for trade. A lot of people before myself started headed out west, you see. And what they brought back with them, east, besides a little bit of gold, were tales and stories of thrill and adventure. So, the ripe old age of 16. Decided to pack up and head out west. Took a look at that sunset that y'all see right behind you. Knew I wasn't headed back east. I kind of made a name for myself.
Yeah. All right, folks. Pay close attention. He's doing this thing called being humble, something I'm not familiar with, but this man is selling himself short again. I can't believe it. Would you believe it if I told you that some people used to call this scraggly old mountain man a hero?
Do I look scraggly? He says no, I'm going with it. He said no, going with it.
Yes.
So, at best, my name would be considered a controversial one. How many of y'all have heard of a Kit Carson? Alright, I like it. So, for those of y'all that haven't, didn't sound like it was many of you, I'll let you know. I was a fur trapper in these parts. I trapped anything out here. Mountain lion, bear, every kind of bear. Let's see, we had the black bear, brown bear, cinnamon bear, koala bear, teddy bear, gummy bear, care bear, and the mini bear. And, but beaver skins, or plews we call them around these parts, that's where all your real money lay.
Ooh, all your money. But you know what he did with that money, Luz?
What do you do?
What'd he do? Mr. Carson went back into the woods to go trapping again, not even spending a dime on himself. Can y'all believe that?
Well, I didn't need to spend money when I had you buying your rifles. Alright. You know what? How many of y'all headed to Clear Creek and Miranda? Come on! How many of y'all headed to Clear Creek and Miranda? Alright. So, for those of y'all that are headed out there, you'll get a real good taste of a trapping life, you see. You might shoot a black powder rifle, throw a tomahawk, stick your leg in a bear trap, I don't know, make sure you can hike afterward. But, do hurry because the plues are running out, and when they run out, well, we trappers go with them.
They'll be traveling down the old Santa Fe Trail. That was the backbone of the Southern Fur Trade and also how the Tooth of Time got its name. If you look over there, you'll see a tooth-like rock sticking up between two peaks. That's the Tooth of Time. It told travelers on the Santa Fe Trail that they're about 2 weeks away from Santa Fe. So the tooth was used to tell time. Me and Lucien, we own those mountains after my father gave it to us.
Hey, Miss Maxwell. If you tell a story, you don't jump around. I'm just gonna let you know that one. Take note of that too. You're a pretty bad storyteller yourself. All right, but it is rude of me to not introduce the Maxwells with us this evening. We have Lucien and Luz. Go ahead. Thank you. Lucien here, well, he's a good friend. You might even say best friend.
Best friend, for sure.
But I met him while working with Mr. John C. Philmont. We were making maps of this area clear up to California and Oregon.
That's true. And one of the things that we did, folks, is we sang a lot of songs. As a matter of fact, I have a song on my mind. You remember a song written by Doc Walker about trapping?
Yes. I ain't singing it.
Well, we're going to sing it. Folks, this song will require some audience participation. So please listen up. Whenever you hear us sing the lyrics, shine on, you shining mountains, you're going to do two things. One, make a mountain with your hand. If you don't know how to do this, defer to your ranger. Secondly, I want y'all to yell so loud that they can hear you on top of the Tooth of Time, the word mountains, only when you hear us sing the lyrics. You gonna go pound, Kit?
Yeah, I ain't singing this song. I hate this song.
Boo hoo. Carson.
Let's see if you can change my
Carson,
mind.
I can't sing.
I lived a trapper's life, took a Cheyenne woman for my life. I trapped for beaver blue, learned to speak the language of the Sioux. Shine on, you shining mountain, out there, I'll return to you. Shine on, you shining mountain, out there, you're the only life I ever knew. I trap by day, I
But these shining mountains still sing my song. You'll feel it in your bones tonight as you sleep along neath the soft starlight. Shine on, you shining mountains ahead. I'll return to you. Shine on, you shining mountains ahead. You're the only life I ever knew. One more time! Shine on, you shining mountains ahead. I'll return to you. Shine on, you shining mountains ahead. You're the only life I ever knew. Yes, you're the only life I ever knew.
Excuse me, sir. Did he pout that whole song?
Not much.
If you get the right group to sing it, it ain't too bad.
Well, we had a grand old time traveling around the West, some call gallivanting around the West with Mr. Philmont. You see, Kit here was the lead guide of our expeditions. I myself was the lead hunter because Kit would always break his rifle. Oh,
Hey. So you know how it's said that he doesn't tell stories very well? Sometimes he doesn't tell them at all. So, the story behind that one is, when you're out on your mule one night, you know, and somebody decides to spook your mule because he think it'd be funny, a hawking, whether it be a rifle or a pistol, will break in two.
Fortunately, Kit always had my husband to back him up. I mean, we even got married at the same service. Happiest day of our
that
lives.
story's still
Lucien.
funny anyway.
Lucien, I got a question for you about that.
Oh, yeah?
Were you happy because you were marrying Miss Luz here? Or because you're marrying into her inheritance that y'all are sitting
Excuse
and
me,
see
sir,
around you
I-
right now?
Excuse me, but he worked very hard to become the biggest landowner in all of U.S. history. Have any of y'all ever heard of the Maxwell land?
No!
Mr. Carson cannot stop my supporters. So, folks, this is a very important part of American history. After I was done gallivanting around the West with Mr. Philmont, I was in need of work.
Because you're lazy.
Because I can read, something you can't do.
Be civil.
Fair.
And so, I managed to get hired by Mrs. Lou's father, Mr. Carlos Bobian. He had me managing his estate, which included a large land grant owned by him and Guadalupe Miranda.
Once we got married, my father, he gave us a piece of that land. And over time, we bought or inherited the entirety of the Bobian Miranda land grant, which people soon started calling the Maxwell land grant. You see, we controlled more land than the governor of Delaware.
Or the King of Luxembourg, that too.
I mean, our proudest achievement was getting Kit over here to settle down, even for a little bit.
That's not easy. Let's just
All
go
right.
with that.
He's right, that ain't easy, but I wanna bring y'all's attention to something bigger. The Maxwells being humble. Doesn't happen a lot.
He's right, it doesn't.
I'm sorry.
You're fine, it's mostly your husband. But, you
Also-
can actually see the house that I built. You head right down the road 5 miles or so to the Kit Carson Museum.
Now, Kit, this is why you learn to read, because you mispronounced it. It is the Carson Maxwell Base Camp, or CarMax.
Why is that
Why
funny?
do they always laugh?
You get Carson, you get Maxwell, you put it together. It's a simple word, CarMax.
That's what it's called. Read a book. That's what it was called, I guess.
That's what it was called. It is now called Rayado. Some of y'all might be visiting there, you see. But I did only stay on this land for about a year or so before I went off to go do different things.
Blues, that's what he calls it. Different things. Do you perhaps mean being a Native American agent, fighting Southern rebels, leaving your humble life
Hey!
as a soldier?
I stopped an invasion of the West, y'all. Don't
true.
forget that. Thank you. Thank you.
Did
Yeah.
a thing.
And I gave those rebel sons.
Don't say it. Good man.
I know, y'all know that phrase. Let's just say, I did a lot of good work as an Indian agent. That I undid as a soldier.
Well, anyway, back to life on the land grant. You see, those passing through found me and Lucien very hospitable hosts. For instance, when Manly and Theresa Chase moved here in 1867, we opened our arms to them and invited them to stay on our land.
Stop your wife.
In the beginning...
Hey, Luce! I'll stop your wife for you. We actually have Manly and Theresa Chase here, so let's let them tell their own story.
Thank you, Garrison.
My fault.
Go on, Manly.
See, when Theresa and I first moved out here, the Maxwells were very kind to us. See, we didn't have a lot of money, so they offered us 4 acres of land for every wild horse we caught and broke for them. Within 2 years, we had over 1,000 acres right down Ponyhill Canyon. And that's where we started Chase Ranch. Pretty soon, one of the largest landowners in all of Cimarron County. I was even general manager for the Maxwell Cattle Company for a while, which ran over 30,000 cattle right across the Maxwell land grant.
Maxwell land grant! Nice, all right.
Thank y'all.
We get it.
Now, homesteading as a cowboy isn't easy work. In the winter months, you gotta watch over all the sick or weakly cattle to make sure they make it through. But in the spring, you just let them all loose, separate the cows from the mothers, and brand each and every one of them. It's hard work, but it was opportunities like these that kept pioneers pushing west, singing songs like this next one, Lovely Rayado.
Come, all ye brisk young fellows who have a mind to roam, all in some foreign country a long way from home. All in some foreign country along with me to go. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. All ye pretty fair maids, and spin us some yarn, to make us some nice clothing, to keep us warm. For you can knit and sew, my loves, while we drink and roam. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. Fishes in the river, there are cattle on the plains, there are tall and lofty mountains with forest in their veins. There's every type of game, my boy, also luck and joe. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. And we'll settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado. Settle on the banks of the lovely Rayado.
You can learn more about those pioneers and the homesteading way of life if you visit Abreu, Crooked Creek, or Rich Cabins. There you can learn more about animal care, gardening, cooking, and everything else you need to make a homestead grow.
But you see, Chase Ranch wasn't just known for cattle herding. We had one of the best apple orchards in all of the Southwest. Even won a gold medal for our apples in the 1893 World's Fair. Our orchard just kept on growing.
Until one young upstart convinces Manly over here to chop down 30 of our best apple trees so he can run a whole railroad straight through our orchard.
Mr. and Mrs. Chase, I do not control the dumb decisions you make. Business is business. Well, now, excuse me, Mr. Schomberg. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you respect Mr. Chase, because Mrs. Chase is one of the toughest people I know.
Hey, Miss Chase, tell the story. You know the one.
Yes, can I have an apple?
So
Sure.
riveting.
Wow, Theresa, can I have an apple?
Thank you much.
I gave you your land. I can take it away.
Well, anyway, one night I was just strolling through my apple orchard when I ran smack into a mountain lion ready to pounce. Now, I looked that lion straight in the eyes, and I told him not to do anything stupid. But that darn kitty went and attacked me anyways. So we fought and fought until finally, inevitably, I had strangled him to death.
Woo! Right. Yeah!
Now, while my corset saved me from disembowelment, my arms and legs were badly scratched. So I began dragging his body back to the ranch to receive medical attention. I made it to the front porch before I collapsed from blood loss. And that's how they found me, bleeding out on a strangled mountain.
Miss Chase, gotta stop you right there. If you're bleeding out and need medical attention, why would you drug that kitty back?
Mr. Carson, with all due respect, of course, you must be out of your mind if you think I'm gonna strangle a mountain lion and then not keep its body as a trophy. Thank you.
Hey, Miss Chase, what about that story about those ruffians?
Miss Maxwell, I can tell my own stories. Thank you very much. Well, one night, I was woken by the noise of someone in my kitchen. And when I went downstairs, I saw that some ruffians had broken into my home. Well, I wasn't going to stand for that. So I held up my shotgun and stopped them right in their tracks. And that's where we stood. Manly!
Yes?
What did I say about the rifle?
I'm not allowed to touch it after the incident.
Well, thank you.
You're not old enough.
That's where we stood for the next 7 hours until the police arrived. Cypher, is that you?
Sure is. I was just enjoying your wonderful hospitality.
Get on out of there.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah! Well, howdy, folks. My name is Charlie Cypher, manager of the Thunder Mine and the one and only Contention Mine, the most prosperous mine in all of Colfax County.
Well, folks, it seems they've changed the definition of prosperous. Because now it means that you find nothing in your mine.
Hey! That don't matter! Now quiet you! Now, as I was saying before, I was very rudely interrupted by Mr. Thomas, the train man over here.
Toot toot, Cypher. Toot toot.
Mining, you see, it's noble work. And it is hard work. Hey, you, how much can you carry? 175 pounds! Holy buckets!
I believe you.
Yeah, no kidding. How about you, son? How much can you carry? 20 pounds? All right.
I really hope you're exaggerating that.
All right, folks. Pat you. All right, I like it. And Mr. Schomberg, how much can you carry?
I don't know, give me a minute. Young lady, would you like to carry 175 pounds for me? Later? In the future? Would you like to be hired?
Mr. Schomberg, it's not.
I can carry 175 pounds.
Maybe. Mr. Schomberg, I've been around food gold enough to know when somebody's lying to me. Now, I myself was known to carry well over 200 pounds, all the way from Cimarron to my very own Cypher's mine. But I'm sure that after a few days out in the backcountry, y'all will be an old mountain goat just like me.
Cypher, the only true thing you've told these folks so far is that you are an old mountain goat.
Mr. Schomberg!
Jeez.
If you're gonna keep interrupting me so gosh diddly darn always, why don't you get yourself on up here and introduce yourself?
An excellent idea. Ladies and gentlemen, my
This
name
here
is...
bag of bones is Mr. Thomas Schomberg. He's the owner of the cross country something or other small company. Want y'all help me out with this? Please stop. It's the Continental Tie and Lumber Company, as well as the Cimarron and Northwestern Railway Company. Yeah, that's what I said. But y'all don't want to hear about railroads. You want to hear about mining, don't you? Yeah! Well, it don't matter if you did or you didn't, because I was going to tell you anyways. All right. Now, the history of mining in this area started around 1866, when 3 men came up from Fort Union. Now, they was looking for copper. While they was panning on a creek in the west side of Baldy Mountain, they found gold instead. They say, forget about copper. We're working with the good stuff now. They carved the words Discovery Tree into a nearby pine and then took off. However,
One of them darn fools must have spilled the beans, because when they came back the next spring, there was over 100 people who were already there. Those darn fools, well, they started the gold rush, and whoo-wee, was that a big deal. Pretty soon, they had enough people around that they could form their own town, and they called that Elizabethtown. Now, can you imagine that? People coming from all over the country in search of God's greatest gift. Gold.
See, folks, I'd always tell my workers that God's greatest gift was sacrificing yourself for others. Real virtue.
Mr. Schomberg, what in the name of James Knott do you know about sacrifice?
Hey, just because those workers got a few scratches, a few bruises, and a few missing fingers, that was a sacrifice I was willing to make.
Sure. However, all that, y'all don't want to hear any more about that gold panning mumbo jumbo. Now, real miners use explosions, yeah! You spend days underground without seeing sun or sky, all in search of the mother lode. Just like my heroes, in fact, their names was William and Alexander McIntyre. Their love of gold was so pure and so true that they trailed straight through Baldy Mountain. And that, my friends, was beautiful. But you know, seems like there's something kind of strange about them deep dark holes. Like something's alive down there. People claim to see lights or hear voices when nobody's around. We even lowered a goat into my own mine once, only to haul it up a bloodied, mangled corpse. Sometimes I wonder if it ain't the devil himself who's guarding that gold. There's a deep dark hole in the mountain where the devil sleeps all the time, stealing his gold from the boys and old from the men who worked in the mine.
From the men who worked in the mine, there's a deep dark hole in the mountain where we shovel and dig every day, stealing his gold. Yeah, the boys are old. They're gone but not far away, and they're gone but not far away. Oh, devils dream in the mountain, falling us down to the mill, day after day, drawing our day from the deep dark hole in the hill, from the deep dark hole in the hill. There's a deep dark hole in the mountain. That last shot was a bum. Let's punch her out, boys, and load her up and blow where the kingdom come. Yeah, we'll blow where the kingdom come. Oh, devil's dream in the mountain, hauling it down to the mill, day after day, drawing our pay from the deep dark hole in the hill, from the deep dark hole in the hill. Oh, devil's dream in the mountain, hauling it down to the mill, day after day, drawing our pay from the deep dark hole in the hill, from the deep dark hole in the hill.
Now, if any of y'all want to learn more about mining, which I know that you do, you can go and visit French Henry up in Philmont's North Country, or go to my personal favorite staff camp here at Philmont, my very own Cypher's Mine. And speaking of camps, Mr. Schomberg, do you have any camps named after you, sir?
Well, I mean, if you count Metcalf, LeBlanc...
I asked if you got any camps named after you.
No.
Well then, what did you even do here?
What did I even
I'm waiting.
do? Years of experience. What did I even do?
What did I do here? I brought economic prosperity
to the area. Well, since you are a pompous jerk, I suppose you want to tell them about it. Now, why don't you?
Excellent idea. Folks, you have the honor, nay, the privilege, of meeting one of the most distinguished men in Colfax County. My name is T.A. Schomberg. I primarily worked upon the upper levels of the railroading industry, traveling throughout the Southwest, and with hard work and a real gumption, traits that everyone here can employ, I made myself into a man of great sophistication. Now, I moved to Cimarron in 1881.
Weren't you the office boy for the Maxwell Cattle Company?
That's it.
Maxwell Land Grant Company, Cypher.
No.
Office boy? Schomberg, you were an office boy!
Miss Maxwell, that was a
Wait,
very long
wait.
time ago.
You
Very
mean to tell
good
me
business.
that this business tycoon was my office boy, so everything that you know about business was because of me?
Sure.
Carson! This business tycoon was my office boy! He must have been this tall whenever I left.
Lucien! Shut up! And sit down!
Let me say one thing. I am proud of you, son. I'm proud of you.
Please,
Business
continue,
man
Schomberg.
because of me.
Well, I quickly rose above my humble origins, Maxwell, and became the operations superintendent for the grant that ran the land.
He means the
owned by
Maxwell
the
Land Grant
Maxwells.
Thank you.
I'll give you that one. Now, I found that I could not progress any further within the confines of this small but beautiful town of Cimarron. So in 1901, I packed up and moved to Colorado, land of employment, and became the manager of the Rocky Mountain Timber Company.
Logan! Son, what do you know about logging?
I know plenty about logging, Cypher.
Really?
Don't be silly. That's a nice rock.
Name one fact about logging.
Easy. I'm gonna blow you away with this fact.
I'm waiting.
They use axes. They use axes. Knowledge.
They use axes.
Yes, they do.
You're wrong.
I ain't wrong.
So you don't know a thing about logging. Why would you start a logging company?
Cypher, logging and railroading have a mutualistic relationship.
A what now?
Go. Go. See, railroads need railroad ties. To make these ties, you need trees and loggers to harvest them. However, you cannot profitably export your trees without good transportation. So, railroads are integral to the logging business because they make the ties, and they use the ties to move all the trees. And then loggers are integral to the railroad business because they produce the ties that are used for the railroads to move the trees. Now, if that was too complicated, I can put it into cipher terms. The choo-choos make the trains go zoom! Did that simplify it for you, Mr. Cypher?
Well, now that you have effectively put the audience to sleep, you may carry on, sir.
Thank you, Mr.
Were you
Cypher.
even listening to that applause?
I didn't need
Not at
to.
all. The owner of said company was a man called John Osgood. You might have heard of him, and if you had, you will follow me in this clear recitation exercise. Repeat after me. He didn't deserve his money. There we go. This is a smart bunch. Now, Mr. John Osgood is the owner of the Rocky Mountain Timber Company. He had a contract to harvest all the trees in Pony Park. The darn fool lost the contract before he even touched a stick. How do you do that?
Very carefully.
Carson, stop. I thought the same thing. So, I negotiated a contract. I waited till John Osgood dropped his company into the ground. They were bankrupt. They had to leave Pony Park. And then I swept in, started my own company, and in no time flat, was back in Cimarron.
Why, Schomberg! Yeah! Look at you taking them down from the inside. We ain't so different after all now, are we?
Yeah, except I take baths, please.
Hey, once a month ain't that bad.
Falling in the latrine does not count, Cypher. Now I needed a way to move my own timber. So I established the Cimarron and Northwestern Railway Company. And with that, we created an operational track from Cimarron to Ponyhill Park in 11 months. That's fast, folks. Now after that, a lively community of loggers sprang up. And these were a very rambunctious bunch. They loved to work. So, in no time flat, about 20 years, all the trees were gone. And afterwards, the cost of exporting exceeded the returns. So they had to tear up the railway beds and leave Ponyhill Park.
Man, I remember when that train first came through with all its flags and everything. We were so excited we fired the anvils. Hey, you ever fired an anvil before? He has. That ranger over there has. Well, what you do? You take an anvil, you flip it upside down and layer it with gunpowder. And you take another anvil and set it on top of the other one. You stick in a fuse and then you run. Pretty soon, boom! Hooray! It was like our version of fireworks. It was beautiful.
Yeah, but what about when it comes down, Cypher?
What about it?
What about when it comes down? Where does it land?
I don't know.
Well, if it doesn't hit the ground, then miraculously, it hits someone's train.
Oh, boo-hoo, it hit your train.
The first one hit the first engine, and the second one hit the same engine.
Hey, don't worry about it, you'll get over it.
Hold on. I have to admire that accuracy.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Mr. Cypher, I believe you deserve this more
No,
than I
sir,
deserve.
I'm fine
Definitely
with this.
I'm telling you.
That is some very accurate anvils.
So they tore up the railway beds. Probably because of destruction of property, but you can see some of those beds if you visit Metcalf Station. Now, who here's going to Metcalf Station? I'm in a predicament because I'm happy that you know where you're going, but I am disappointed that you're not showing the correct level of excitement for my entire livelihood. Who's going to Metcalf Station? Thank you! You go there, you can ride the pump carts up and down the rails. Sounds fun. Hammer down some railroad ties. I wouldn't do it, it's dirty business. But you can make some of those ties yourself if you visit Puebloan or Crater Lake. Now who's going there? There. Thank you. In the end, folks, there is a clear lesson. Railroading, yes, it's hard work. It's decent work. It's honorable work. Some may even say it is God's work. But most importantly, it is profitable work. I hope you all decide to become railway people.
You know, Mr. Schomberg, I was a railroad worker once.
Would you look at that? Even Waite Phillips started small.
Indeed. See, when I was 16, headed out west, like Mr. Carson did. I headed out west with my twin brother Wyatt, and we had many adventures. Railroading, logging, hotels, even held factory jobs for a little while. And, well, one day Wyatt passed away. So I headed back home, and my brothers put me through business school.
Mr. Phillips, I'm very sorry to hear about your loss. I bet your brother was a wonderful man. But look at the industrious spirit on this one, folks. Now tell me, what field did you enter?
Oil.
Oh, well, it's not trains, but okay.
In fact, my two older brothers founded Phillips 66. And I worked with them for many a year, till about 1914, when I thought I could make a bit more profit, so I split with them and made my own company. And in 10 years, I sold it for $25 million.
$25 million? I never saw a cent of that! Mr. Phillips, I want $1 million for my mine!
No!
Fair enough! But if you find any gold, it's mine!
That's fun. Now, instead of buying a rundown old gold mine that didn't produce anything, I bought a cattle ranch. I'm part of the Maxwell land grant.
Maxwell land grant!
y'all are wonderful.
See, most people were very hospitable when we first came out here, especially the old-timers when my husband and I would run into town and he'd buy them all a round of coffee. See, they told us all kinds of stories about the people who settled here, like Henry Lambert at the St. James Hotel, or the Rich family who trapped and hunted grizzly bears at the Valle Vidal, or the Abreu at the Rialto River. See, the more that we learned about this place, the more we learned to fall in love with it. And if you don't mind, I think we'd both like to share a little song with you about the people who settled here.
I have worked upon a hillside where the pines sing in the wind, where the ranchers lived before me, and the miners before them. We believe in simple living. It's the only life we know. All we need here is our freedom and a place to call our home. In the revolution, Maxwell, where the grain has been grown, where the wild grass fills the meadows, and the rocky rivers flow, by the hills that I call home. I have traveled across the country. There is much that I have learned. Still I felt no peace inside me, till the day that I return. For there are two things you can count on in this struggle world we face. Every season has an ending. Every person has a place. In the revolution, Maxwell, where the grain has been grown, where the wild grass fills the meadows, and the rocky rivers flow, by the hills that I call home. These are the hills that I call home.
Philmont was our summer home for more than 15 years, but eventually we had to move on. So we started looking for people to take care of this land when we left it, and well, you scouts were perfect. One of your founders had a saying. He said, "When you have found a worthwhile trail, you are thereby ordained a guide. When you have won a kingdom, you must share it with others or lose it." I had a similar philosophy. The only things we permanently keep are those we give away. So in 1938, I gave away 35,000 acres to the Boy Scouts of America.
We called that first land the Phil Turn Rocky Mountain Scout Camp, combining our last name with the scout slogan, "Do a good turn daily." After the first treks went through in 1939, we were both so impressed that we decided to donate 90,000 more acres to the Boy Scouts, changing the name back to Philmont, combining our last name with a Spanish word for mountain. Our second gift included the Via Philmonte, along with our 2 hunting cabins, which you can go see if you visit Hunting Lodge or Fish Camp. See, the more that we learned about this place, the more we learned to fall in love with it, and I sincerely hope that you are inspired by this land. the same way that it's inspired us for so many years.
Courage, endurance, leadership. These qualities are embodied by the stories you all have heard tonight. You will need these traits in the days to come, but they're forgotten far too easily. So tonight, we'd like to recognize those who embody these traits for you. Would all of the crew leaders and their rangers or wranglers please come form a line across the stage?
Please don't come down.
Not step on the rocks.
It will do you good not to step on my rocks.
Thinks that there's gold in the rocks.
Hey now. I heard that, Ranger. I like it.
Hi, Bryan.
It's amazing.
Crew leaders! These trails are hard and will test you and your crew. Your crew will need a strong leader to guide and unite them amid the trials you'll have on the trail. You'll need to maintain a positive attitude, lead by example, and resolve your crew's conflicts. To remind you of these responsibilities, your rangers will hand you an American flag in a moment.
The American flag. It's been with leaders throughout our history. It's worn on the uniforms of our police officers and our soldiers. Carried into space and around the world by our explorers. But most importantly, it has been carried by every crew leader that has hiked here in God's country. So crew leaders, if you choose to accept the trust and responsibility that your crew will place in you, then face your ranger or wrangler and accept the American flag. There you go. Crew leaders. You done? All right. Crew leaders, may this flag be a constant reminder. You're taking with you a symbol of our country, a link to our history, and a reminder of your commitment. When you return from your trek, have your lead adult advisor bring it to your closing campfire.
Crew leaders, you can also assist your crew in earning the Trail of Courage Award, along with your other responsibilities.
But good news, you all aren't alone. There's another leader in the audience that is charged with preserving this land. So all the wilderness gears rise. Every year, and do remain standing until you're told to sit down. Every year, 22,000 people will hike the trails you're about to set foot on. And without continuous and tremendous amounts of effort, that many people could destroy this land. So guías, it falls on you to prevent that. You see, guía is the Spanish word for guide. And like so many pathfinders and explorers before you, you're charged with ensuring that this land gets shared with as many people as possible. It's also your job to ensure that your crew follows proper leave no trace and outdoor ethics. It's not an easy job, but your job ensures Philmont will be here for generations to come. And lastly, your crews will come to you in earning the Wilderness Pledge Award.
There's one final member of the crew's leadership team. Will all chaplain's aides please rise? Chaplain's aides, you are charged with maintaining crew morale, the single most important factor to a successful trek. Encourage your crew to take time to reflect on their experiences. Finding moments of peace and stillness is as essential to a successful trek as finding moments of adventure and excitement. Finally, your crew will come to you for assistance in earning the Duty to God Award.
Now, will all three of these leaders please raise their right hand in the scout sign and repeat after me the Philmont Leadership Pledge. I promise. To serve my crew faithfully. To accept the responsibilities of my position. And to put the well-being of my crew first. 2.
Crew members, look around you to the leaders standing before you. They have just agreed to lead you on this journey. Yet no matter how well they do their job, if your trek is to be a success, you must all trust in each other. The West was not conquered by one man. I had help.
Your bestie Maxwell?
Yes.
I had help. And just like I had help whenever I needed it, it will take all of you coming together and working together to ensure your trek is a success. So while your leaders take their seats, give them a round of applause.
Hello, Mayo. Miss Maxwell, I understand you have some experience herding cattle. Miss Chase, my apologies.
Sorry. I know, you're good. You're good. I was just going to say help because he sat in his office most of the time.
Herding cattle's easy.
I'll be Maxwell. I apologize, man.
Okay, I guess I'm not.
Philmont is a special place. But the mountains themselves are no different than those north or south of here. If left alone, this land would be no more remarkable than any other pretty pile of rocks. But there's a magic to this place, and that magic is here because of each and every one of us. It's in our history, our memories, and our stories. The tales that you live and tell in these mountains are part of the ever-growing Philmont story. So treasure them greatly and share them liberally. But telling your story isn't always that easy. So, we have some advice from Paul Salopek, a man walking around the world, retracing our oldest ancestors' footsteps on a fellowship from National Geographic.
Hi everyone, my name is Paul Salopek. I'm a journalist and National Geographic Fellow. I'm walking 21,000 miles across the world, retracing our oldest ancestors' migration from Africa to South America. Today, 4 years into my trek, I'm talking to you from Central Asia, after having walked about 6,000 miles from my starting point in Ethiopia. Welcome to Philmont Scout Ranch. My project, called the Out of Eden Walk, is about slowing down and writing thoughtfully about the people and places I encounter on my global trail. By interacting with people at boot level, my walk shares similar principles to those that you're learning as scouts. I too use intentionality and close observation of my environment and meaningful interactions to write about the hidden connections among people and between humans and the natural world. The walk sparks a quality of alertness. It's not about sleepwalking through life, it's about being mentally awake. It's one way, I think, to help us each become a better citizen and steward of our shared planet. The first thing you learn while out walking, whether at Philmont or in Jerusalem or here in the grassy belly of Asia, is that by slowing down you begin to think more clearly, to focus. Instead of being distracted by an endless stream of digital media on your phones, you're forced to look squarely at the physical world beneath your dusty boot tips. How do you record that world? Every 100 miles along my route, I take what I call milestone readings. This involves making photos, videos, and sound recordings, plus an interview with the nearest person I see. I encourage you to do the same. Be sure to note how your hike helps you grow through learning experiences, and how those moments enhance your interactions with new people and new places along the way. Whether the challenge is simply keeping dry in a thunderstorm or thinking more deeply about how you might make a difference in the world, walking, slowing down, observing the world more closely, and working together as part of your crew will always help you succeed. I've found, while I'm out walking the world, that knowing local history helps ground my life in the context of a landscape. Likewise, your trips here at Philmont are just the latest journeys layered atop the older ones that you've learned about tonight. But this is only the beginning. And here is the real key. Write. Write your experiences down in your passport journals. Keep these journals with you. Read what you've written, and continue adding to them along your life's trail. This is the real gift of what I call slow journalism. If you keep at it, you might even be asked to join my global walk in Southern Asia by participating in our essay program. Good luck on behalf of the Out of Eden Walk and my partners at the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting.
During my and my husband's adventures, we always made sure to take note of our experiences and the people that we met. Every one of our experiences had at least one moment of particular significance, and your own trek will have moments just like these. If you forget to write them down, they may be lost forever.
We encourage you to write about the people you meet, the experiences you have with your crew, your moments of personal triumph, and even failure. Write down the moments that are important to you. You can turn your stories in at backcountry camps or when you return to base. Some of your stories may be read at the campfire that closes your trek. We hope that the time you spend with your thoughts enhances your appreciation and awareness for the natural world around you.
As we end tonight, would you all please join us in one final song, the song that ends every Philmont campfire, the Philmont hymn. Please stand and remove all hats.
Silver on the sage, starless skies above, aspen-covered hills, country that I love. Philmont, here's to thee, scouting paradise, out in God's country tonight. Wind and whispering pines, eagles soaring high, purple mountains rise against an azure sky. Philmont, here's to thee, scouting paradise, out in God's country tonight.
As you depart, please take a moment to consider the stories that you've heard tonight. They happened on the ground that you now get to walk. Countless chapters have been added to Philmont's history over the years, and tonight, a new chapter begins. Your chapter. So good night, good luck, and good scouting.
Good night.
Let's do it.
Miss Chase, why is there apple on my guitar? What? Miss Chase, I know you hate me. No.
That's my hand connecting now. Never. Your hand just kept going farther and farther down.
Oh, Mark.
Your hand kept going farther and farther down. Like, no.
They're looking for a ranger somewhere.
They're looking for
I don't know.
Should we just start? Yeah, let's just start.
One night while I was out riding, the graveyard shift midnight till dawn. The moon was bright as a reading light, for a letter from an old friend back home. She asked me, why do you write for your money? Tell me, why do you roll for short pay? You ain't getting nowhere and
What do you mean?
Was I too mean to
No.
my
Thanks, y'all. Have a good night.
You just.
Miss Chase, you can never be too mean to Mr. Maxwell.
Love you all.
You were the right amount of me.
Bye. Thank you for being most